Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Hope you all can hear me loud and clear. Okay, so this is a lot of videos to catch up on, and fights to catch up on, so we get straight into this one. The rematch between Cecilia Braekhus and Jessica McCaskill. Jessica McCaskill won the title, the undisputed title, and this time was for the Ring Magazine belt, as well as the other belts. Cecilia Braekhus felt at the time that Jessica McCaskill wasn't in her league. McCaskill was fortunate. It was because of COVID, being a big bear for so long, and people expected Cecilia Braekhus to come back and beat McCaskill, who had a lot less fights. I think she had 9 fights coming to this, and Cecilia had over 35, 36 fights, and was widely regarded as the lady of boxing in the welterweight division. So the scene was set for a rematch, and of course, we got it. Now, coming into this fight, I have to tell you that it's interesting what a fighter's mindset is coming in for a rematch. You get beat the first time, and you're basically saying to the fighter that beat you, you're not congratulating the fighter in that sense. You're saying, you're making excuses. I'm a better fighter than you. I fought better opponents than you. I've done this, I've done that. You're almost saying you were lucky. And it's not just that. Your trainer has a lot to do as well. And if your trainer has that sort of arrogant mentality that, McCaskill's not that good, she's okay, she's average, she's a decent fighter, and you don't study tape, you don't take the time to actually study your opponent and give your opponent the respect you deserve. I thought the first fight when Cecilia came in, she looked very arrogant the way she walked around the ring, and she thought that, McCaskill being a smaller fighter, that she would have come in and dominated. That wasn't the case. And I said in the first fight, I thought McCaskill would put too much work on Cecilia and outwork her and beat her. In the rematch, there was no adjustments made by Cecilia Braekhus for the most part, and McCaskill came again, stronger, hurt Cecilia early. Cecilia kept getting caught with the overhand right over and over again, walking onto big shots, being out hassled, being bullied by the smaller girl, and not being able to make any adjustments. Typical of most fighters that come under Abel Sanchez, when they get backed up and punches start getting thrown at them, they don't quite know what to do when the punches start flying furiously at them. You've seen so many Abel Sanchez fighters down, like Gassiev, when he ran out of ideas against Usyk, didn't know what to do. Abel Sanchez himself ran out of ideas, told him, do you want to go home now, start throwing punches. Is a typical example of what happened. You see, this fight here, Braekhus just couldn't, she had spots in the fight, but for too much of the time, she was getting hit with overhand rights, walking onto big shots, being bullied, being walked down, just being manhandled, and looking every part of 39 that she is now. And you kind of wonder where Braekhus goes from now. Can she move up in weight and fight? Clarissa Shields? I wouldn't want to see that fight, to be honest. And I thought in the first fight that McCaskill versus Taylor was a very close fight. I thought even McCaskill had beaten Taylor. And I said that after that fight, I thought McCaskill would go on to be a world champion. And a lot of people at the time thought, nah, she's not that good. But she not only moved up in weight, became world champion, she moved up in weight again to be undisputed champion. And then she beat the former undisputed champion again. That's how it's done. You beat the champion, and then you go and give them a rematch, and you beat them again the second time round. McCaskill definitely needs to have her name in the Hall of Fame for that. And Rick Ramos, shout out to Rick Ramos. It's got to be one of the best trainers in the world today. He put up an excellent game plan, absolute excellent game plan. And when you're going into a rematch, particularly at the age that McCaskill, Braekhus was, you think with age you get wiser, but sometimes with age you get stuck in your ways of doing the same old things over and over again. And I think that Rick Ramos set up a brilliant game plan with throwing the overhand right, and it just looked like Braekhus was textbook and couldn't do anything else. She just could fight one way, and that was it. And McCaskill, being a smaller girl, came up in weight and put a beating on Braekhaus, to be honest. And I didn't feel sorry for her at all. I didn't, because there was no adjustments, no changes. Was going to Abel Sanchez a good idea? No, I didn't see any benefits of her going to Abel Sanchez whatsoever. When it comes to game plans, I'm not sure game plans and Abel Sanchez seem to go together, particularly with the situation with GGG and Canelo. They said to Canelo, oh yeah, let's see you fight toe-to-toe this time. And what happened when they went toe-to-toe? Canelo backed up GGG. And what has happened this fight with McCaskill? McCaskill backed up Braekhaus. So I think, to be honest with you, some serious questions need to be asked of the trainer, and some serious questions need to be asked of Cecilia Braekhus' mentality coming into the rematch. Did she study Jessica McCaskill, or did she underestimate Jessica McCaskill for the second time? You underestimate the first time, okay, fine, and you came with all the excuses, but you came with the same crap the second time round? Or was it just the fact that you can't adjust your style, or you're unwilling to adjust your style? I don't know which one it was, but blame has to be put in front of Abel Sanchez's door, and blame has to be put before Cecilia Braekhus' door, because, 2 fights you got beat by, let's be honest, if we're brutally being honest, you got beat by a novice. And is it because of age and Cecilia Braekhus and McCaskill and his team have got it right that Cecilia Braekhus' body is breaking down on her? I don't know. But what I do know is that Braekhus got her ass kicked in a rematch where she couldn't make adjustments for the most part. And the other thing is, in spurts, like I saw in the fight, round 7, Braekhus was able to step off and use the jab. Why did she do it from round 1? I did understand it, but credit to McCaskill. I would love to see him. Forget Taylor. I would like to see McCaskill versus Pearson. I'd rather see McCaskill versus Pearson than McCaskill versus Taylor, because I think that Pearson beat Taylor, to be honest. I'd like to see McCaskill versus Taylor. That would be a great fight. Both girls are come forward fighters, not trying to be clever. Both come forward fighters. Both girls want to brawl. I'd make that fight faster than Caitlin Taylor, to be honest. I think it's an exciting fight, and I really would love to see this fight, Pearson versus McCaskill. That's a fight I'd love to see. Can McCaskill go up to light middleweight? Potentially super welterweight, light middleweight. Is that too much of a jump for McCaskill to go up to super lightweight or light middleweight, and for Cecilia for Clarissa Shields to move down a weight for that super fight? What a super fight that would be! Undisputed versus undisputed versus undisputed. Have you ever seen a fight like that before? A 2-time undisputed champion, meaning in 2 different weight divisions, fighting a undisputed champion of another weight division. So that's completely undisputed, 3-time undisputed. That'd be, I don't think it's ever been done in men's boxing, but for women's boxing, fantastic. I mean, it would be absolutely awesome. Let's just go through the comment section, because I'm busy here talking about this fight. I've got some reviews to do as well still, so I'm just going to go through the comments quickly. What's up, Andre? Good to see you in the room. Says, great fight for Jessica, cementing her place as #1 division. Absolutely. Who do you feel you favour? I'd favour McCaskill in a rematch against Taylor. I don't think Taylor's improving. I think Taylor's doing the same things, and she's been fortunate not to have got beaten by Pearson, like I said. Let's get that Joshua Fury show. We'll have to talk about it. Wow. Because I think Taylor had too much at time. I don't think so, because I thought that Pearson did a number on her. I thought McCaskill did a good job on her, but I didn't think she was going to get the decision. Much like I don't think Billy Joe Saunders would get a decision against Canelo on a Mexican day. Just holiday. Can't see it happening. You were right. McCaskill won. I was wrong. A wise man makes mistakes, says PG London. Yeah, we all make mistakes, mate. It's just being man enough to put your hand up and say, you know what, I've got that wrong. And as you know, on this channel, I'm the first to put my hand up when I get something wrong. And also when I get it right. Rematch would be fun. Yeah, it would be fun. Feel for Jessica. She's now defending undisputed crown, defending against legend, and hardly gets respect. Whereas Ivan Bridge beats a 40-year-old with 3 kids and fights for WBO next to Matchroom Show. Yeah, I've seen that nonsense. Yeah, I've seen that nonsense. Sanchez threatened to pull Gassiev after 4 rounds against Usyk. Aha, overrated trainer. I think somebody called him a fraud trainer. I couldn't remember who called him a fraud trainer, but I think it was on my channel. I called him a fraud trainer. I was very impressed with McCaskill. Respect. Oh, yeah, I think it might be Derek James that called him a fraud trainer. Michael Fox says, great pre-fight analysis, Ingram. Another cheeky win at the expense of the bookies. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong, but I just don't think a lot of these older fighters, they get beat, especially the champions, they get beat. They got it in their minds. Oh, I got beat on points, but I didn't really get beat on point. And if you've got that mentality, listen. I hope that Dillian Whyte and his team have actually made the adjustments, because if they don't make the adjustments, the same thing could happen to Dillian Whyte too. Pearson versus McCaskill, straight barn burner. See, I can matchmake. I can make fights. That's a great fight to make. So yeah, I just wanted to do a review on this fight because let's see if I can get this camera going. Let's see here. Abel, interesting trainer. How great would Juju have been if he was another trainer? Don't know, but he definitely wouldn't have had the hype that he had behind him. Braekhaus isn't shot. She just met someone who had a number. It doesn't matter who you are. Eventually, you meet someone who has the right. You fight the right fights. Yeah, I think so. Just out-hustled her. But then, could you imagine? See, Lucia Rijka was, for me, the baddest woman on the planet. And she also went and fought a man as well. And if you look on BWTM Sports, I actually got the pleasure to sit down, or not sit down, but do a live interview online with Lucia Rijka. She's the greatest woman fighter, I think. Awesome fighter, Lucia Rijka. And I always wondered what would happen if Lucia Rijka fought Braekhaus. I think Lucia Rijka would have beat the brakes off of Braekhaus, to be honest. Don't think Abel added much to GGG's game that he didn't already have through the amateurs. Got to agree with you there. And yes, Cameron, I've got to agree with that point as well. I totally agree with you on the point that, yeah, she's not sharp. Well, her body's definitely broken down. But I think trainers are key, and she definitely needs. I don't think Abel Sanchez was for Cecilia Braekhus. I think she found that out the hard way. So yeah, so I'm going to finish here on this. When I come back, I've got to do another video. That will be on the Forest Zoom post-fight. I've got to do that one for Mr. Boxing today. Got some interesting views on that. So I'll be back in a moment with that. And of course, we've still got Mr. Fury and Mr. Joshua to talk about as well, because I'm sure you want to hear about that as well. So stick around. I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching and subscribing and all the rest of those good things. See you soon. Yeah.